this afternoon, the minority in Parliament say that their stance on the 2024 budget remains unchanged, vowing to scuttle the approval of the 2024 budget statement. Today, Parliament is holding a headcount to decide whether or not that economic statement will go through. We have live visuals coming through from Parliament, as you see on the screens now, of course, with the majority leader on his feet, I believe setting the ball rolling for the proceedings for today.
It does not involve mentioning names one by one. Since when have we done this? Since when have we done this? Mr. Speaker, yes, with the greatest respect. We are ready. The House is ready. The House is ready. We don't want to waste time on this. Let there be the head count as the practice is. And then we move on. Honourable members, there is no disagreement in this matter. I have not said that anybody should stand at anybody's seat. I said you will stand at your seat and you'll be counted. That's all what I said. Yes. And so when they mention your name, you stand at your seat, not at anybody's seat. And you'll be counted. You stand at your seat and be counted. So, honourable members, let's start. Abaka Samuel Erickson. Please, we've started. Let's listen to each other. Yes, clerk. Abaka Samuel Erickson. Honourable members, please, when you get up and you stand at your seat, you let us know what you are voting for, yes or no. Honourable members, please. Honourable members, unless honourable members, unless we are saying that all those on my right are voting in a block and those on my left are voting in block. If not, I will not be able to tell, and the table office will not be able to tell whether the person voted yes or no. If we take that decision, then we are well guided. Honourable members, the shouting will not take us anywhere. The yelling will not take us anywhere. You have to keep quiet and let us count the hairs. Finish. Yes, Majority Leader. Mr. Speaker, there is no doubt at all about what is contained in our orders. Our orders provide. Order 1132. A member may call for a head count or division if the opinion of Mr. Speaker on the voice vote is challenged. That was what was done by the Deputy Minority. And 1134 provides, in the case of head count, Mr. Speaker shall take the vote of the House by calling upon members who support or opposed to his decision successively to rise in their places. Because so for those who support it, who said the ayes have it. So now it will be for you to ask who support the ayes. And then the ayes will rise up to be counted. That is what it is. Those who are opposed to it, who said no, you call for those who support the no. And they will get up. This is the convention and practice of this house. Where from this prevarication and trying to vary the others. With the greatest respect. I'm pleading with you. Let's conform to what we have been doing always. Call for those who support the ayes, they will rise up. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will be one side. They may come from the other side as well. So let's do that, and then we'll move on with the greatest respect.
Honorable Majority Leader, the same standing order you read, which is 1133, says, in the case of head count, Mr. Speaker shall take the vote of the House by calling upon members who support or oppose his decision. That is my decision. Successively to rise in their places. Yes. Honorable members, this decision of mine was taken some days back, not today. It was taken some days back. For some reason, we couldn't take the vote that day. We are now doing it today. And what is left to be done is to count the heads. That is what is there. The word. We are now, please, successive. Honorable members, this cannot compel the Speaker to let them count your heads. You better resume your seats. You don't achieve anything by this. Even after all what I do here, when you go out and misrepresent what I do here to the public and let them attack me, I listen to everything. It's only I don't react. Please, the differences between what the majority leader is saying and what I'm saying is the interpretation of the word successively. Successively. That is in the standing orders. Please. Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I see no reason why we should litigate over this matter. Mr. Speaker, I say this because you are absolutely right, Honorable Speaker. The language in our standing order 1133, is clear. And the use of the word successively does not mean we should rise in groups. It simply means one after the other. So, Mr. Speaker, you are right. And I see no reason why we should litigate over this matter. Mr. Speaker, if we had started, I'm sure by now, at least, we may be halfway through it. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge you to continue the process because, Mr. Speaker, clearly, Order 1133 is clear on this matter and we should not deviate from that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, as I've said, I disagree with this interpretation and I must emphasize it. I strongly disagree. However, knowing that you want to stick to your position, I'll surrender. Let's do the head count. Whatever you want to do, let's do it. We are ready. Let's do it.
Majority Leader, don't give the impression that this is the first time this is being done. We have done this a number of times on this floor. Please. We have done this a number of times. The records can bear me out. The official reports are there. Don't give any impression that this is the first time it's been done. Please. Again, the guidance you leadership gave me is what I am following. I have not departed from that guidance. Please. Clerk at the table, may we start? Is it the case that anybody standing from my right side is for ayes? Those standing from my left for noes? In that case, you don't have to mention ayes or noes, but the names will have to be mentioned. Please go on.
Abaka Samuel Erickson. Abanga Abdullahi. Abdullahi Jacob Idris. Abdullahi Jacob Idris Alaji. Abdul Latif Dan. Where's that? Abdul Salam Adams. Ablakwa Samuel Kujato. Abuaji George Kwame.
That's all live here on Joy News, our live coverage of proceedings here from Parliament. What is currently happening is the head count regarding the 2024 budget approval. You will recall that only a few days back there was a vote on the budget presentation and economic policy. There was a voice vote. The majority voted for it, the minority voted against it, and they called for a head count. And the head count is happening today, 7th December 2023. This is crucial because the 2024 budget is necessary for the economic estimates that will be put before the House to be dealt with before the final appropriation is passed. It's a full House. Almost all MPs are here. I've scanned around. I can't see specifically any seat that is vacant except the seat of James Jachikwesin, the NDC MP for Asin North, who has been unwell for some time and has now been airlifted to seek medical attention in Canada. He is the only person that is outside currently, but almost all persons are currently present in the House. The clerks at table are mentioning the names in alphabetical order. If they call you, you stand in your chair and you signify to the clerks at table that you are present, and the vote is going to continue. Ultimately, we expect that the majority side will carry this. all ministers and delegates who left the country to attend COP28 have all now arrived and are all in Parliament. I see the Minister for Energy, Matthew Poku Prempe, the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. Kennedy Japan had also traveled to the United States for some time. He has also arrived in the country. So for the majority side, it's almost a full house unless someone, perchance, is not available in the chamber today, and that will mean that this will give the minority some leeway over there. So barring any unforeseen circumstance, we expect that the 2024 budget and economic policy will go through because almost all MPs are present. The majority side have 138, the NDC side have 137, with one of their colleagues, James Achikwesen, not currently available because he has not been feeling so well. If you get into the strategy of the minority is to let the public know that they fought this every step of the way and have gotten to the point where the numbers do not bear them out. They don't have the numbers. And so this is to put this on record, that they have fought against the 2024 budget. They could not succeed because they just don't have the numbers. So really critical scenes, as you can see from the shots, that it's a full chamber as the clerks at table marks the attendance in alphabetical order to see which MP is present and which MP is not present. You're still live here on Joy News. Our feed is live from Parliament of Ghana, where the crucial vote on the 2024 budget is happening. The finance minister is seated in the House. Really critical budget for him to be able to spend in 2024. He has just about 2 weeks to run out of money to spend if the 2023 budget does not go through. You see the minority MPs watching with eagle eyes to see if any majority MP is absent. That will be crucial. That will be critical. And like we've explained, if everything that we've seen so far is to continue like that, this budget will go through because the majority side have been able to whip almost all. In fact, all of them are currently in Parliament as this vote happens.
Alhassan Abdullahi Idi, Alhassan Bashir A. Fuseni, Alhassan Lydia Seiram, Alhassan Shaibu Suwini. No. Ali Muhammad Umar Farouk, Alaute Angela Okoriwa, Amankwa Nicholas, Amankwa Menu Kofi, Amau John Peter, Chirame.
Apologies there, it appears we've lost the link to Parliament. Of course, we're continuing that coverage of the 2024 budget approval. You see the Speaker of Parliament now giving that order for a head count to begin, and that process is underway with some fierce resistance, though, from the majority side of the House, raising concerns about the approach or modalities for the head count. Will be crossing back to Parliament shortly to get the very latest on the concerns emerging from Parliament. But if you do recall, the background to this is that the majority side last week had to stage a walkout in Parliament after the Speaker ordered a head count owing to some protests by the minority side that the vote on the voice vote actually on the 2024 budget approval is not clear enough, a reason for which we saw the Speaker of Parliament order for voting, if we should put it that way, to happen this week. And that's the exercise underway in Parliament, where, of course, we now know that there are, in fact, some MPs, or at least one MP that's not present before the House, as indicated by my colleague Kweku Asante, who's our parliamentary correspondent, monitoring all of the developments for us. We're taking you back shortly just to get a view and a feel of the voting which is underway. We can now cross you over.
Siama is a Kwame. Siama Kwabna Amankwa. Siama Eje Nana Amadupua. As a Vincent Oko, Atame Samuel, Abedi James Kruche, Avoka Cletus Apul, Ewa Ignatius Bafo, Awuni Teresa Ladi. Ayamba Ladi Ayarga Mama Aiku Benjamin Nati Aine Dominic Doctor Bafi Michael Tree Bafi Michael Tree Baba Benson Tongo, Balidi Bright, Bachi, Yalevi, Doctor, Bandim, Azuma Abednego, Bano Patrick, Batel Sheila, Bawa Edward, Bejira Emmanuel Kwesi, Betino Joseph, Blanton Alex, Boachi Henry Yadon, Boachi Yadon Patrick, Doctor, Boama Patrick Yao. Boati Akwesi Dakun, Boati Amapoma, Boati Joseph Apia, Bobie Evans Obofu, Bote Daniel, Brahma Ahmad Bawa, Boa Emmanuel Amakofi, Bukari Joseph Ipe, Shiana Amidu Ishaku, Trajia Samson Kangobu, Chiwate Andre Dari, Prince Abeku, Kujo Comfort Doyo, Kujo Joseph, Kujo Robert Wisdom, Lapiameko Roxton Nelson Eche Kwame, Dalu Thomas Ada. Tapila Kletu Seidu. Daku Daniel Ohini. Daku Mensa Kwabena Ochiri. Dauda Collins Alhaji. Daudi Abukari. Terry Ambrose. Jonabua Alex Tete. Donko Elvis Morris. Donko Kwabena. Duka George Miriku. Iyanana. Fojo in team, Reverend. Force in Kessel Atuba, Doctor. Frempong Joseph. Gakpe Kwame Jujoli. George Samuel Nati. Gansa Alasan Kobena. Gate Joe. Gidisu Wisdom. Gomado Yao. Gomashi Abdullah Jifa. Jesse. John Alexander. John Mensa Richard. Hamon Kobina Taher. Ansenote Ace. Haruna Seidu. Effort for Philia Mensa. Otoji Alexander Roosevelt. Ibrahim Ahmed. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed. Ibrahim Zura Mohammed. Idrisu Habib. Idrisu Haruna. Isifu Seidu. Jabba John Bena. Jaja Yusuf Isaka. Jalula Stephen Pambi. Jesel Godfrey Seidu, Doctor. Jinapo John Abdullahi. Jinapo Samuel Abdullahi. Kini Kisi Dixon Adumako, Doctor. Funedu Akwesi, present. Thompson Mavis Howard. Kosa Martin Kwaku Ajay Mensa. Kodo Benjamin Komla. Kum Ebenezer Kojo. Kuma John Mbotwa, Doctor. Kuma Joseph Kwame, present. Uyon Solomon. Kwachia Kapita, Yao. Kwati Kwaku Ajimai. Kofi Festus Ewa, Doctor. J. Mensa Bonsu Osei. Chairman Nelson. Chairman Nelson. Labi Oscar Ofori. Lati Agnes Namomo. Doctor. Lewa Oscar. Mama Asei Seini. You are present. Mama Nessa Turi. Manu Adabo Francis. Marfo Doctor. Marfo Kofi Ahinkura. Boba Thomas. Mensa Betty Nana Ifua Crosby. Mensa Francisca Otin. Mensa Isaac Ajay. Aziz Ayaba. Nanja Sanja. Napari Dominic. Nawan Mark Kurt, Doctor. Newman Dakwan. Nitiwo Dominic. Nkansa Bwedu Mavis. Nogwe Kofi Akun. Nogwe Ernest Henry. Nochu Kotwe Peter Kwesi. Ntim Adelaide. Ntim Augustine Collins. Ntosu Helen Ajua. Nyankote Albert Tete, Doctor. Nyanko Bismarck Tete. Nyanko Kingsley, Prof. Nyanko Kwamina Menta, Doctor. Obi Ntechi Bensa Kwabina. Yes. Obi Mbwati Alfred. Oklulinda Obiniwa Akwile. Odamte Isaac Ashia. Obosua Jari Elizabeth. Okubo Dr. Williams. Ochiri Ejekum Kofi. Obogu Davis Ansa. Obogu Eric. Obogu Eric. Obogu Isaac Yao, Doctor. Obong Nkrumah Kojo. Osai John Frimpong. Osai Kennedy Nyako. Osai Asari Abna. Osai Asari Abna. Osai. Okay. Osai Owusu Joseph. Osai Owusu Joseph. Oti John Kwabena Bless. Otuta Christian Bolete. Owusu Bio Benito. Esla Ekufo Owusu. Pay to death on the graft. Purple Abdul Rashid Hassan, doctor.
The counting is still underway in Parliament. You just saw some scuffle because Abinor Siasare, the Deputy Minister for Finance, was not in the chamber when it was mentioned. Let me speak to one of the very senior people here. Okay, I'll come to him in a bit. But yeah, the voting has continued currently. Almost all MPs they've called so far are present. James Jachikwesim's name has just been mentioned, and he is absent. James Jachikwesim is absent. The MP for Senate, we all know for some time has not been well and has been has been in Canada for healthcare. He's absent. But the scuffle and the confusion on the floor was when the name of Abinor Siasare, the Deputy Finance Minister, was mentioned and she was not available. So this will be about the numbers, and ultimately we expect that this vote will end as 138 in favor of the majority and 136 for the minority because of the absence of James Jachikwesim. That is the only MP we know and can categorically confirm is currently absent from Parliament. Every other MP is currently present, which means all 138 that the majority side have currently are seated in their places and will be called upon and will be on their feet. The counting is still ongoing. For those of you who are just tuning in, this is our live coverage of the head count on the 2024 budget approval process in Parliament. It will be recalled that last week when the motion was concluded, the debate was concluded on the motion to approve the budget statement and economic policy, there was a vote, a voice vote at that. The Speaker's opinion was that the ayes had it. Those who voted for the budget had won. This opinion of the Speaker was challenged by the minority leadership who called for a head count. And that head count is what is happening currently. It was moved from Thursday. We expected it would happen on Friday. It did not happen on Friday. On Monday, it didn't happen. On Tuesday, yesterday as well, it didn't. Up until just now, that the vote is currently happening, with MPs on both sides really counting the votes. But as we have come to learn, this will ultimately end down to a two-member majority in favor of the NPP caucus, because all 138 of their side members are currently in Parliament, and the 136 in favor of the minority are also here, with the exception of James Jachikwesim, the MP for Senate, who has not been well and has been at the hospital for some time now. Let's take you back to the floor and listen as the names are called and MPs stand up to be counted in their chairs. Let me just run by you literally that when this vote was expected to happen, when it started, there were some concerns from the former Attorney General and MP for Sikado Ketam Jogati, who argued that there should be no vote on the statement, but only estimates and appropriation, because in his opinion, the budget statement should not be voted in, and that a convention that had been adopted by the House over the years, where a vote had been taken on the budget statement and economic policy, was simply erroneous. And the only thing MPs were actually required to vote on will be the estimates and appropriation. Mahama Yaga fought back and said that Jogati was completely wrong, and that once there was a motion, a decision had to be taken, and a vote was necessary for that decision to be taken, unless, of course, it was a consensus decision. The Speaker then ruled that the heads will be counted, and that is exactly what is going on the floor now.
Papa Daniel Sala, Rakup Robert Bright, Woyome Pabena Mensan, Ziedimbi Angotazumo. Honorable members, at the end of the head count, ayes 138, noes 136, Absent 1. Honorable members, the ayes have it. Honorable members, this House has accordingly approved the budget statement and economic policy of the government for the year ending 31st December 2024. Honorable members, the issue raised by Honorable Joe Garte is an issue that has come up a number of times in this House. A number of members in the previous Parliament and currently, and even at the post-budget workshop, the majority leader raised this issue. It's an issue worthy of consideration. We have gone through the provisions of the Constitution and the standing orders of the House, and there is a need for us to take a second look at the standing orders of the House. Definitely, there are more provisions to look at in the Constitution than what you have been referred to. And I have taken some time to go through these provisions, particularly when this matter was reiterated last week by some members of this House after we could not take the vote. The Standing Orders Committee has taken a deep look into the matter and will be proposing for the consideration of this House during the consideration and the adoption of a resolution to revise these standing orders. And so we've made some proposals therein for your consideration as to how to handle this matter. We have either to pass an act or in some situations a resolution. And some provisions talk about approval, particularly when you are dealing with the capital expenditure of the judiciary. Again, when you are dealing with a supplementary budget, that definitely talks about approval. At what stage do you give the approval is the other consideration we looked at. And we all know that is the appropriation bill, whether it's supplementary or not, is what we usually approve, pass into the law. And that is also provided for in the Constitution. And so we will look at it together, realign it, and then see how best to handle such situations, because I foresee in the near future this country having a minority government. And if you have a minority government and the standing orders don't provide for all this scenario, the minority government will always have a problem in getting its budget approved, particularly as members are so partisan. extremely partisan. I know how brilliant members are. But when it's come to debate on the floor or on radio stations, they are carried away by partisan considerations, not what is right or what is good. And so we've taken a deep look at that, and we have revised the standing orders. Latest by next week, it will come before you. Because what I've just done is a declaration of the results. But that word doesn't find expression in our standing orders. I just declared the results. It's not a decision taken by me. It's a decision taken by you. I've just declared the results. And so we've done a lot of work on it. And definitely it's something that members should take seriously. With this, we move on to some urgent business. And I'm sure members will have received copies of the order paper addendum. Order paper addendum. Honorable members, this is a matter that had been considered by the House before, and I think in the report of the committee, there was an insertion that is in complete conflict with the decision of the Supreme Court. As to agencies set up for commercial purposes, whether there are transactions in connection with facilities, particularly financial facilities or agreements, fall under the purview of Article 1815. The Supreme Court has delivered a judgment in that matter, but that seemed not to have been factored in the earlier decision of the House. And so the committee itself made recommendations on it, and this instrument, this memorandum has been brought forward to rectify the situation. And so I'll be calling on the Minister for Energy to present it to us for our consideration. That is what it's meant to do. Well, let them present it. What is it? Honorable Haruna.
Mr. Speaker, I have no difficulty with the presentation. I'm familiar with the standing orders, but if you read what is there, it ends with the words, "for the attention of Parliament," in order paper addendum. Every paper presented here is for the attention of Parliament. So you cannot present a paper ending with the words, "for the attention of Parliament." I have no difficulty. You can go ahead. But when you put words matter here, you are laying a paper. Lay it. You cannot lay a paper and put in the words there, "for the attention of Parliament." Every paper laid here is for the attention of Parliament. He can proceed to do it, but expunge those words, in my view. Thank you.
Honourable members, the Honourable Haruna Idrisu is right. It should end at energy. So it's memorandum on terms and conditions of refinancing of the Litasco Phase 6A facility pursuant to the recommendation of the Committee on Mines and Energy.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader.
The Minister has hesitated to assent to some documents in his office. So the Deputy Minister is here. You can do the presentation on behalf of the Minister. As for what my colleague, the former minority leader, did, Mr. Speaker, I'm not too sure that it's subject to litigation because until the paper is presented, there's nothing before us. You go to argue about nothingness when there's nothing before us.
Well, I drew his attention, but he said I should hear him, so I've heard.
My colleague, the former minority leader, did. Mr. Speaker, I'm not too sure that it's subject to litigation because until the paper is presented, there's nothing before us. You go to argue about nothingness when there's nothing before us.
Well, I drew his attention, but he said I should hear him, so I've heard him. That's all right.
Mr. Speaker, the Deputy Minister is here. Let him do the presentation.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, we saw the Minister a moment ago, and I thought this matter is a serious matter that the Minister himself should have been here to lay. But, Mr. Speaker, in any case, let us allow the Deputy Minister to lay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Memorandum on terms and conditions of refinancing of the Litasco Phase 6 facility, pursuant to the recommendation of the Committee on Mines and Energy.
Honourable members, the paper is accordingly referred to the Committee on Energy for consideration and report to the House. Honourable members, just the last issue, and then we get the guidance of leadership. You recall I mentioned earlier on that I had to pen to the Minister for Finance on your behalf on some takeaways from the debate on the 2024 budget and economic policy of government. What we just took the headcount on. I think the Minister has stepped out, but they've acknowledged receipt of the communication and have indication that they will act on it. And so I'll be following up on your behalf on this matter because I deem it that is very dear to the hearts of members. The takeaways are on various areas that members emphasized on the debate, in the debate of the budget. I'm sure you've forgotten, and it's quite a lengthy letter. I can't read all of it, but if you want me to mention some, I will do so. You want a reminder? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, you were keenly following the debate, and you indicate that you have stranded out very important components of the debate and transmitted the thinking of the House. Or should I use the opinion of the House to the Minister for Finance? And we believe you, so I think we don't need to go through whatever communication that you have done.
I should go through. Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, what was that you paid attention to the debate and you have taken note of key concerns of members, and that you have put it in the form of a letter to be communicated to the Minister responsible for Finance. Mr. Speaker, I think in view of that, that is enough, and so there's no need for you to go through it or read it to us. Maybe you can communicate same accordingly to the Minister responsible.
We usually have problems with our system, so I didn't get the import of your submissions. Is it that I should go over it again, or what I've done suffices for the House?
The Speaker, what you have done suffices, and there's no need for you to go over it again. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Honourable Speaker, I do not know whether we'll have the benefit of your observations. What you observe, whether members of the House will have a copy of what you are trying to communicate. Because we also have to own what the observations are for our own thinking and progress.
Actually, earlier on, I gave an indication to those observations here in the House. I did. Just because we've just taken the head count, I'm reminding members that I've already done that, and I've got a feedback that they are definitely looking at the submission members have made. They had to do some sectors. They have to do taxes. The taxes that issues were raised on some sectors that there's a need to scale up the provisions for those sectors. And then some key issues concerning education, particularly our students, the tablets and the rest. Those are the issues. They are not contentious. Yes, leadership.
Mr. Speaker, respectfully, if you can deal with items 39 and 40.
38?
39. 39.
39.
Yes, on page 21, and then 40 on page 22.
Honourable members, item 39 at page 21 of the order paper. Is there a question to be put? That is on the Ghana Industrial Property Office Bill 2023 being now read the second time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Carried.
An act to establish the Ghana Industrial Property Office for the protection and use of patents, trademarks, industrial designs, geographical indications, and plant varieties, and to provide for related matters.
Honourable members, the Ghana Industrial Property Office Bill 2023 is deemed to have been read the second time. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on item 40, it is captured wrongly in the order paper. It says that debate to commence. And Mr. Speaker, I recall that the last time the motion was moved, seconded, and then we did debate on that. So it was also left with the question to be put. So it's in the same category of as item number 39. And that is the correction I seek to make, please.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, it is difficult to, I'm not doubting my colleague, but if it's captured, debate to commence. We can't just say that it's wrong. I mean, this is not the rules and proceedings. So, Mr. Speaker, this is not any urgent bill. Can we leave this tomorrow so that the table office, and we can even use the Hansard to confirm what was actually said that day. So we don't do the wrong thing. So we don't do the wrong thing by avoiding the debate on it and just putting the question, Mr. Speaker. And tomorrow somebody will say that a bill was introduced and no debate was done and then we pass it. So, Mr. Speaker, let's tread cautiously on this. It's not an emergency bill, so we can leave this till tomorrow, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Chairman, the table office is not sure the debate was concluded. So we'll put it that debate to continue. But honorable members, there are some key bills that we have to consider before we go on recess. That we have to finish before we go on recess. One of them is the affirmative action gender equality bill. Even though we said it was not proper for it to be brought under a certificate of urgency, we all know the key role that bill will play in the development of the country. And so we just gave the committee the opportunity. They advised us it's not right for it to be brought under a certificate of urgency.